digging dirt up and then putting it on the compost. That's our favourite thing in the garden.
I do everything in my power to avoid having to go out in the garden. It's just not my cup of tea at all. Boring, dirty, cold, wet, generally, out here. Do you want to say something, Mother? No, please don't. Just go back in your little... I do apologise.
I love gardening. They say in the garden, it's the closest place to God, In actually, I'm waiting for a nice warm day so I can go and pull a few things up, you know what I mean? So it's like God, oh, hello.
I like gardening, but I'd like to do more. I'd like to have the time. I love to see things grow. I love to design things.
Well, a garden's a place for contemplation, isn't it? For reflection.
Gardening, eh?
Very apt.
Well, we don't really know much about gardening, do we?
We seem to get boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gardening, it's not an easy job. When you're digging all day, the old back tends to suffer at the end of the day. You make it as easy as you can, really.
I would call this a labour-intensive garden. Yes, it is.
Me and Nigel we like being out in the open more than we do actually indoors. I believe that anyway. Yeah. And I think what Nigel likes about it is he's got that sort of saying like, no, do it this way, and I think he likes that. But I think we get on quite well together. Sometimes you have a moan at me and that about it, but two minds are better than one. That's what I always say. Sure. But we make sure that the job is done, and it's done to the best of our capabilities, and the job is cleared, and the job is actually spot on when we leave.
We have a yard that Des is very nicely decked out, haven't we, Bob?
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
I really like it. It's got loads of sun, got some ornamental grasses.
It's quite small, but it's nice.
No, it's not that small.
Smallish.
There aren't many ponds in the neighbourhood. And certainly in the height of summer, when it gets quite dry, any body of water attracts frogs from miles around. A Lonely Heart pond for frogs, yes. Singles bar sort of thing, yeah.
I get a bird's eye view of some of the most extraordinary gardens. Sometimes you can be up one tree which has 8 gardens underneath it, and all the neighbouring gardens are gnashing their teeth about this big tree, and the person who owns the tree has a very defensive attitude towards it.
We've got a little bit of decking, and then a bit of grass, and
a bit of slabs.
A bit of slabs.
Yeah, just got everything.
I pay it, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slabs.
And you can dig dirt, grass, sheds, bikes, flatstones.
What's your favourite plant?
I don't have any favourite plants. I like all the plants, except vegetables. I hate vegetables.
I don't like any plants except vegetables.
You only say that.
No, it's true. I know. I quite
like olive trees.
I can't see the point of flowers, really.
I like a good-looking garden which attracts all sorts of living things into it, to be a sort of magnet for life. I like contrasts of form and colour.
And cat papu and dog papu. And bird papu.
It's organic gardening, that's coming a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.
All people are I noticed in our gardens that we visit that there's a lot of people with their own compost heaps and that's putting their own sort of peelings and stuff like that.
Well, it's like that garden we done up in Portishead. That one at the bottom, she had all that black stuff, and we opened it up, it was jet black, remember?
Yeah.
And that was that when we done all the shrubs and that in her garden.
Yeah.
And that stuff was really good. And that's good for organic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're about number 1 on the hit list of slugs. Crawling and sliming across leaves and eating. You know, not very good. You just follow him on, you just see these silvery trails.
I can eat almost anything.
Yeah, I think I'm the same too.
I won't refuse. And the only thing I don't eat is Turkish delight.
I like Turkish delight, see?
I can't stand it.
Yeah, I
and
like
lychees.
Turkish.
Lychees.
Yeah, what don't I like? No, I think I like most everything. Yeah, Brussels sprouts and that, I like them, but the missus don't like it.
No, not
Not
at all.
after.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Slugs, in my opinion, they're ugly looking things, but they're probably eating other creatures, aren't they? So they're probably doing your garden good to leave them.
I don't think they are actually doing your garden good.
Are they not?
They're eating... If they eat your leaves
I
and
know
things,
nothing about
they can wreck
gardening.
your plants.
Can
That's
they?
why they make slug pellets.
Oh well, yeah, you're
They
right.
don't make worm pellets.
Silly old me, I know.
I suppose the next one along is a caterpillar, which seems a shame when you think a caterpillar turns into such a beautiful thing. But a caterpillar can make such a mess of it, you know, a lot of plants, you know, with leaves munched away again.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a good crop of potatoes or a good crop of beans and peas. Whereas flowers
aren't useful.
I mean, they are.
They are.
They're useful in the sense that you
They're
can
pretty.
sit and enjoy it, but it's an awful lot of effort, isn't it?
No, it's not.
I must admit to having a very great affection for the plant that we call by the unfortunate name of dog's tooth violet. Sorry for that delay.
There is a shrub that I do like actually, and that's the burning bush. You ever seen them?
The burning bush?
It's called a burning bush.
A burning bush?
A burning bush it's called. And basically it goes green, and that, when it dies, goes to die off, it goes completely brilliant red.
Oh, like flames, no?
Yeah, that's what they call it, a burning bush, because it actually goes from a nice dark green to a real burning red.
Red.
And that's called the burning bush.
It turns to ash?
It just goes to like branches, thin little branches, and then it goes green again and goes all over it again. But the tree never goes away; it stays there all the time.
All right.
So it's a bush that's there, and I should say a shrub, as well as a bush, what is there all year round.
It's just mucky, messy, boring, rubbish.
It's got a shed,
Sounds
which I'm really
gorgeous.
made up about, because I've like always wanted a shed all my life, and now I've got one.
To read pornography in.
Not to read pornography, to have a radio and listen to the football results with a paraffin heater in fingerless gloves.
It's not chocolate, it's not grass, it's not anything, it's dirt. I'm telling stories.
British food, I think, is first class. It's somehow clean, satisfying.
English food is very bland, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not terribly spicy, I'm not either.
Oh, well,
or I like
I
the
am.
spices and the spices don't like me, you know what I mean?
No, I like spicy, and I like all kinds. There's nothing around here anyway, is there?
The trouble with the foods we eat now, there's too much fat in them. And the worst thing that happens in this country, there's too many people eat chips.
Ooh, egg and chips, gammon, chip butties.
I mean, at lunchtime, instead of kiddies going down and buying a couple of apples or a couple of pears, what do? They go to the chip shops and buy chips. And when they get home at night, they have chips again.
You know, if I have too much chocolate, I get a bit fat, and I put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, she eats really well for a diet. I mean, I pile weights on and she piles it off. So I think what she loses, I gain.
Try and eat healthily.
And she eats brown bread and all the rest of it. Apples and bananas, you name it, she eats it.
The main staple diet for runners is...
We had, in fact, we had wild strawberries, little wild strawberries. And of course, if it was acorn time, you could always eat an acorn. And even the thistle, you could always peel the top off of the thistle.
Are you talking about food? I go to a restaurant, I like everything.
Everything.
You know, not one particular,
like
a Mexican or a thing. That's no good for me.
There are one or two foreign foods I do have. Rice pudding, proper pizzas. Like some of the deep pan pizzas.
The crust on top, amazing, and then that gooey stuff inside. But that sort of poo is a lot healthier, horse poo and cow poo. Cow pats are fantastic to look at, there with all those dung beetles crawling around inside them.
As long as it's filling and barely edible, I'll pretty much eat it. I'm always too hungry to be picky.
I didn't like to eat anything really that was contaminated by any insect. Although we put up with it when you're hungry. I never ate it, that I know of. may have done, I don't know.
Horse poo is very good, you know, but human poo and dog poo, that's poisonous, I think.
Yeah, but if you eat a bit of dirt, it don't matter, does it?
No, they reckon you eat a pound of dirt anyway. In your lifetime, they reckon you eat a pound of dirt. God. Without even knowing.
I used to go around the back of shops, supermarkets, going down the back of the skips to get
No
the
problem.
chocolates out. Yeah, I've eaten food that's been a week old and what have you. Anything from frozen to tins. I used to find all sorts of food in the skips. I was like liberating it.
And then there's elephant poo, which is enormous. And lion's poo, now that must frighten anybody off.
I don't catch flies because they eat poo, and I don't like poo.
Like eating dirt, you got your trace elements in there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, and it builds up your resistance to infection
Exactly.
as well. So it ain't a bad thing, I don't think.
Dirt on food. Dirt on what? Dirt on food can kill you. You can put one mouthful of dirty food in your mouth and you can be a goner. Can you ask me that question?
I think I've ate more lead shot than I've certainly ate oysters. I think that's probably, I don't know, it's probably why my brain's a bit funny, or, yeah.
Dog and cat food.
It smells absolutely disgusting,
Well,
doesn't
it's
it?
very strong.
Horrible.
It's very strong.
Oh, I don't think I'd like to eat a sheep's eyeball or an intestine of a cow or something like that. But if you've got all these sort of intestines and all these sort of, you know, not so appetising bits of animals, then they mix it all up in a mixer and then they call it
I don't want to sound like a cannibal, but there again, we all went out for a meal and the chicken was so horrible. I could vomit all night and never stop. That was really, really horrible.
Horrible. Yeah, bloody milk cartons. Goes everywhere, milk, anything. There's too many bags in the world.
God help the people with arthritis.
Yes,
They never open them.
they can't.
It's terrible.
Even to tea bags, even to get the stuff.
The
You know, it's
cellophane on it, you
ridiculous.
can't open it. The biscuits, you can't open it. All packages.
And a packet of ham, which I don't very well.
It's terrible. They're not, none of the
By the time you open it, you don't want the ham.
No. Oh gosh, yes.
I hate seafood. I really, absolutely detest it. I did eat a fish once, about 2 years ago, and it was, I think they're disgusting.
Now, I like prawns and all the shellfish. I mean, I know they're lovely, but I'm always afraid in case you get the one that will turn your stomach.
Whelks, mussels. That's like eating slugs.
Is it?
Oysters and stuff.
I've never
Brilliant.
tasted a slug.
Ugh, sliding down your gullet.
But you don't eat slugs,
Like
do you?
eating a slug.
Well, how do you know when you've never had one?
That's how I would imagine it to be.
I love salads. Same as I'd rather have a salad than a roast dinner.
We eat a lot of salad in the summer, don't we? More in the winter.
Salt or a bit of tomato. Can't beat a bit of salt.
Can't beat a bit of lettuce.
Well, I mean, I feel very healthy. The only thing that I have problems with is digestion, and I don't know what is wrong with my digestion. I mean, it's just like I just fart all the time, you know?
I've got a windy stomach. So, like, a lot of things I would not eat if it would upset me. But other than that, no, I'm not a diet person.
Vegetarian is alright, but when they cut out everything, because some of them don't eat, well, they're vegans, is it? Vegans, I think that's hard.
I've been a vegetarian a long time, and when I'm angry I sometimes lapse and just go and bite something that's made out of meat, and then I feel guilty afterwards.
Vegetarians, I think they're sort of trying to be better than the rest of us. You know, it's been proved, as far as I know, that the best thing to eat is a bit of yourself.
Actually, beans gives me wind and lemonade makes me burp.
What are you looking at?
Thank you very much.
I love this environment. I mean, it's great fun. The one thing that everybody has in common when they walk through that door is they love their animals.
Most pet shops are quite loud because they have birds in and they're always sort of singing, if you can call it singing. And there's lots of cages. And you sometimes, if you can put your finger through the bar and tickle what's ever inside like a rabbit.
At the end of the day, most of it's the U factor, the R factor, you know. That's, oh, look at that, you know. Cute little kitten.
It's awful to think that we're sitting there waiting for somebody to pluck us out of the air and take us home and keep us forever, you know. But at the same time, I'm never brave enough to go and make the first move and go up to somebody and say, right, you, how about taking me home and looking after me and loving me and cherishing me?
I think, yeah, go for things that are obvious. Dogs and cats and the like. I mean, there's all sorts of people, they have things in their bathrooms and all sorts, don't they, alligators and that sort of thing. Wouldn't have it in my bathroom, I can say. Nope, wouldn't.
He's called Chester, and he is very long when he stretches himself out. If you annoy me, his eyes sort of widen a bit.
I don't think that I'm awful looking, I think I'm alright looking. People always say that I've got very open, honest eyes. So I think that I would be pretty nice to have around and have hanging about the place on the sofa.
I don't know. A lot of old nonsense, I think, really. So, I mean, you need to spend proper amounts of money on things, but you see some of these dogs that people have about. No, I don't think you need to spend a lot on them.
Dog toys, well, they love running and fetching things, so we've got balls on ropes, and lots of dogs, especially the smaller dog, like a Yorkshire Terrier, likes a squeaky toy. That's a high-pitched one, or just for a laugh, we've got ones that'll go.
We went to a friend's last weekend, and this poor little hamster's in this wheel thing for its exercise.
Well, it had a little car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle with a wheel in the middle, and it actually, by working the wheel, moved across the carpet.
Poor old hamsters running round on the wheel. Why do they do it? Because they're as daft as a 2-bob watch, I should think. Them poor bloody hamsters thinking, I could get out of here in about 2 minutes flat. And then they find out they ain't going nowhere. Just like the rest of us. We're all on the bloody wheel ourselves, aren't we?
Dogs are just stupid. People go on about how
stupid as stick insects. Stick insects are the most stupid creatures in the world. I mean, look at me pretending to be a log. Isn't that clever? Oh, I'm a little twig. Isn't that great? I mean, dogs are far better than that.
I think cats make good pets.
There's quite a lot of cats with bad breath, though. That's what I don't like about them.
Cats?
Yeah.
I like stick insects. I once got a train journey with me and 2 stick insects. It was brilliant.
I know, and I very much like a stick insect, but not as a intellectual conversationalist. I mean, hey, have you seen my log impression? Yes. You know, doesn't go much further than that, does
No,
it?
stick insects don't have a developed vocal tract. That wouldn't happen. I think, though, dogs are stupid.
I don't really like snakes. Spiders I can live with, but I've never touched a snake. I almost did, but no, they're not our thing.
I feel isolated. I feel alone. I think I can hear something scraping on the outside, and I don't know what it is. I'd like there to be someone here with me.
Snakes can be dangerous to other pets. They can swallow things whole, and they do eat mice and small rodents whole without chewing.
Now, I like the furries and the tortoises, because I've got tortoises. I love tortoises, but they're still asleep at the moment.
Oh, sleep's really important to me. Yeah, I mean, I go through passages when I need to have a lot of it, and it's just good. I mean, man, come on. It must be, you know, in the top 3 of everybody's list. Your bed, you know, I mean, top 3, top 2, top 1, maybe the top. My bed, wow.
Sometimes the pet, when people are looking, will actually do something to say, I'm the one you want. Here I am. You want me? I'll have me.
It's like I've been sitting on a bench with all of my friends. It's like being at a dance, one by one, somebody's come up and taking them away. And then there's just me.
How much am I worth? I would find it very hard to put a value on that.
On a good day, I would say that I'd be worth a fair lump sum.
Do I say £1 million or do I say £10 million?
I don't think I'm that valuable. I think I'm worth about £142 probably.
At the end of the day, if you're the right person, you can buy me for 10p.
But the rest of the time, on days when maybe I'm feeling a bit grumpy and I'm sort of having an off day with people and I'm not in my normal friendly state of mind, I wouldn't pay a penny for me. I'd throw me back and choose another one.
I want a price ticket on myself.
No, not at all.
No,
I wouldn't even sell you.
I wouldn't sell you either.
Ah.
I don't know if I worry about being left on the shelf, because at the end of the day, I've come through sort of many years of being on my own and having a really great time. And I think, well, if I was on my own, I'd just continue to live life. And if it was at this standard, I wouldn't have a lot to complain about.
I've sort of been on and off the shelf, as they say, really. There's been a time when I thought I was on the shelf, and then I got took off again.
Everyone gets rejection in life. When you're younger, you're more able to actually cope with that, I think, and bounce back. And you're not on the shelf for long.
I know that it will be okay in the end, but I am very pessimistic. I think it's going to take a long time before I get out of here.
The icing on the cake would be the partner or the companion who would be there with me for the next number of years.
And so I'm nicely happy now in my life, having been took off the shelf, and that's like a nice family that I'm in now, and that's a very comfortable sort of feeling.
Jill has a tendency, most mornings actually, to claim that at some point during the previous night I farted very loudly.
I think snakes and spiders are more scared of you than you are of them.
I have a phobia of being shut in an incredibly small space. You know, like my ultimate. I mean, the idea of being buried alive with no space in a box. Oh man.
I think the egg came first.
I think
to give birth, so the chicken could come out, and then the chicken can have
But
more
where
eggs.
did the egg come from?
Oh yeah, but if you think about it, an egg is going to become a chicken But it's being but then the chicken's gonna be would be an egg. So if you think about chickens after the egg, I think egg comes first.
Yeah, but maybe the chicken might have come from another animal, like a rooster. It's confusing.
There's sterile waters somewhere, and the volcanic chemicals and all that has started life, and then we've evolved from that. What I do find hard is the fact that we've actually evolved from something so minuscule, like so microscopic, to the dinosaurs, to us.
I think that we come from some kind of chemical explosion that caused some form of life to be created, and that we eventually slithered out of the sea, and it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually we're going to be extinct.
I think we are a process of evolution. I think we are not the top of the pinnacle. We are just a branch, I think.
Yeah, I'm completely conscious of the fact that I'm actually just a cloud of potential, of which primarily water molecules. If you looked at me across time, you would see a cloud of water molecules form and momentarily become brine and then move off again.
I can't bring myself around to thinking we came from the sea.
No, I don't think great-great-granddad was a fish.
Slimy then, wouldn't
Yeah, I'm sure that we came from the sea, most definitely, because it just seems, when I get into water, I naturally want to start frolicking, and I think that must mean that so we came out of the sea and crawled onto land for some reason. I don't know why, and it's a shame. I think it'd be great if we all went back to being aquatic.
I don't know. I think we're more likely to have originated from on land, because we haven't got we've got gills, haven't we? But maybe,
Well, they're always looking for this missing link, aren't they? And they've never found it yet. The connection between us and monkeys. I mean, what sort of idiot wants to prove he's come from a monkey?
The difference between me and a monkey would be mainly that monkeys, they live in the jungle and I live in Catford.
There's a train of thought that says that we came to this planet thousands, hundreds, millions, whatever years ago, and in fact already did colonise this planet as an alien race.
I do incline to think maybe we did start from another planet, maybe we did come from another planet.
I'd love to see aliens or something similar on our planet. I think it'd be great to see how we kind of interact with them, whether they'd be similar to us or not very similar or something like that.
Would they be good golfers?
Humans were created by this giant cosmic cow licking a stone, and as it licked this stone, the humans rolled off.
Looking at birds evolved from dinosaurs. Yeah, probably could have done, because they did actually have wings, didn't they? Some dinosaurs years and years ago, didn't they? So though it's the size of the dinosaur, and how do you get something like a sparrow or a little wren or something like that from something that's absolutely ginormous, this huge, great sort of dinosaur?
I don't know really. I've never really given it much thought.
Yeah, where'd you get these questions from?
Well, your evolution, that's all a load of rubbish, isn't it? It's not true, is it? It's a load of rubbish. How can you possibly evolve a set of wings? It's not going to happen, is it? I mean, I'd like a set of wings. I'd love a set of wings. In fact, if I could have anything, I'd definitely have a set of wings, but it wouldn't matter how many times I jumped off a tall building I'd never grow wings. And even if I jumped off a tall building and then my child jumped off a tall building and his child jumped off a tall building, and we did that forever and ever and ever, there is not the slightest chance that wings would grow out of my back.
We all started off much the same kind of thing. We all were waddling along on our bellies to begin with. Then we grew arms and heads and legs, and some of us got up and walked, and some of us stayed down crawling around. No, I'm glad I've evolved the way I am. I wouldn't like to have been further back in the evolutionary scale.
I think we've evolved to our full potential. I think we have.
Possibly.
It's hard to...
Maybe not on an intellectual basis, because
well,
every day,
I don't know, it's hard
to... More and more.
Hard to see how you can improve further, isn't it?
We'd be able to do some good tricks if we had a couple more legs. I'm sure we'd be able to work out some new stunts for the show, so that could be a positive advantage, definitely at this stage.
Depends whose legs they were, doesn't it, really?
I think, obviously we'd adapt in whatever way if we had extra legs, but...
We were, wouldn't it? If you had 6 legs, where would your arse be?
Yeah.
I don't know whether physiologically we're developing.
The only thing I can think of is that because we have such stressed lives, we're much more aware of exercising to release the stress, and so we're getting more toned bodies than we might have had.
I've got as far as I'd like to evolve as I am at the moment.
I'm searching, you know what I mean?
Aren't we all?
Maybe one day I'll just wake up and think, I have evolved.
One day we think you got there, the next minute you get run over.
That's it, game over. You know what I mean?
I regard myself as a kind of ego-driven space-time meat vehicle, and I'm in the centre as the driver, trapped inside the folly of the monkey ego. But I accept that, its limitations, but I know that the truth is that it's actually just a space-time version of a larger hyperdimensional information field.
Oh, jeez.
I just think, at the end of the day, it's about genetic transport. Basically, we're just hauling genomes along in a bag, which is our body, from century to century. I think that's what it's all about, folks, you know?
It's noticeable we don't get cold winters anymore. They're just wet. So, we might survive another one.